Hi, I'm Brad Pitt, and we're ballin' today, tomorrow, and most definitely yesterday. At what cost? New F1 trailer just dropped. No, I did not watch it. The teaser is enough. I actually want to watch this movie, and I feel like trailers just spoil the whole freaking thing. But yeah, trailer just dropped. I'm very excited for it in one way or another because I know that this thing was obviously F1 had everything to do with how the script plays out and all that. So, very interested in seeing how F1 or the FIA wants the world to perceive F1. You know what I'm saying? Because obviously, in one way, the other character, the Brad Pitt's teammate, is like the antagonist to begin with. But then again, it's just like obviously the handsome black dude is not gonna be a bad guy throughout the whole plot. Of course, the lady, I don't think is her. She's not Rebecca Ferguson. I think I'm getting her name mixed up. But whoever's the actress, who's the girlfriend or the whatever of Brad Pitt in the movie, she's incredible. Incredible actress. Very beautiful. So I like that. And yeah, very excited to see how they market that because I have these film nerds, because I like watching movies and all that stuff. And there's a bunch of movie people going like, I wonder what's, Apple TV. This is a Apple TV thing, and they're actually doing a theatrical release. I wonder if they're going to make a profit. Are we not forgetting who's like injecting the most money into F1? It's oil money. I don't think they're too concerned about turning a profit. Okay. As long as as long as new eyes get introduced to Formula One and all that stuff, that's it. That's all we really need. And same director as the Top Gun Maverick, so I like that. They got a lot of. There's gonna be a focus with how realistic it is, so that's kind of my draw. And like that's why I'll spend money to go watch this movie, and I'm fine with it, because I think there's still room for improvement in terms of the broadcast, especially when I just watched MotoGP over the weekend compared to F1. I genuinely think MotoGP just looks so much more invigorating. I don't know if that's the right word, but no, MotoGP was absolutely insane last weekend. This is my first season trying to attempt to follow along just because I've been sold on the idea that Marc Marquez is like, I don't know, like the Lewis Hamilton of MotoGP. I could be completely wrong about this, right? But the guy is sensational. He's dominating until last weekend. Ducati's 22 race win streak got snapped because this Frenchman, and it was in France, this Frenchman called Johan Zarco just made the right strategic move, was on the wet tires and predicted rain even though it was dry to begin with, made the right call. Wet tires came alive. He kept the lead, extended the lead. It was amazing. Frenchman wins in Le Mans. Broke all kind of records when it comes to that. Snapped the Ducati win streak. It was fantastic. I didn't almost. I cried. I genuinely cried. That's beautiful shit. You know what? I want the F1 movie to make me cry too. I'm sure that Brad Pitt's gonna No. Get this. Fuck, dude. I already know the plot. It's like Brad Pitt won't win, but he's gonna. No, dude. Oh my god, I already cracked the code. So get this. So first the young black driver or his teammate is going to be like the antagonist, and they're like beefing or whatnot, and then all of a sudden Brad Pitt starts doing better in the F1 movie, and then ultimately it's like, I can do this, like sacrifice this strategy for my teammate to win, and then constructors we do better, and then whatever. So then Brad Pitt, he makes the sacrifice, and then ultimately the team wins. There, I already got the plot down. There you go. Boom. Whatever. I just cracked the code. But moving on to what is about to go down. We took a little break last weekend from F1. That's why I was tuning into MotoGP. And just real quick, we were in Miami before the break, and last weekend, although there was no Formula One race weekend, they released the Formula One Miami Lego GP, or whatever the hell you want to call it. I don't have it written down what the title was, but the Lego F1 race, right? Wasn't that the saddest video you've ever seen in your life? Like, didn't that just bum you out? Didn't that F1 Lego video just bum you out for all eternity? Seriously. That might have been the saddest video I've ever seen in my life. These drivers sacrifice so much to make it to F1. And then when they're in F1, they just get tortured by the media. They get tortured by the FIA. They get tortured by the sponsors. And that F1 Lego video and that whole thing was the one time where you can see how happy they actually can be. You know what I'm saying? That's how happy they actually can be. But, I mean, do we ever see them that happy? Do we ever see any of those F1 drivers having that much fun ever? When they're doing their job that they've worked tirelessly for since, a young child, family has sacrificed so much. Now you're getting paid millions to drive the F1 car, and yet still it will never be as fun as driving the slow F1 Lego car for one lap. That might have been the most depressing video I've ever seen in my life. I don't know. You know what? Let's get serious. Maybe F1 is fun. Before that Lego car idea, I was kind of giving up on the fact that F1 actually has fun video ideas. Because really, you look at the interview type of questionnaire videos, you can just see the torture they're putting the guys through. Like, this is the same old questions that they've been asked 1,000 million times. And then they're just like, okay, yeah, I have to do this, right? And, I don't want to be a cunt, so, right? But then every now and then you can see that some of them are like, you know what, today I am going to be a bit of a cunt. Like the most recent video is like, your journey to F1 or path to F1 or whatever the fuck. And it's like some of them just like, I don't remember. I don't know. I mean, this doesn't really matter. I'm here now. Right? Where was Jack Doohan in that video? You know what I'm saying? Where's the footage for that? Release that footage. They interviewed Jack Doohan those fucking questions. Where's that footage, dude? Because get this, Jack Doohan, you fired. He was fired from Alpine. Franco Colapinto comes in, right? I'm not gonna, make that a controversy. I think Franco deserves a shot. I think he was actually pretty exciting to watch, driving an F1 car last season. I'm not gonna deny Franco Colapinto, but guess what, Franco Colapinto, you're missing out because Jack Doohan drove the Lego F1 car. And he's in the F1 Lego video. I swear, that's Jack Doohan's F1 legacy right there. Right there. And that's how great F1 is, really. Like, that's how far F1 really has come. It's that before, if there has been like ridiculously short F1 careers before. This is not a new thing. But before, it was just like, oh, okay, I guess, kind of like the Nicholas Latifi situation, where it's like, okay, well, I'm going to pursue a career in business because that's what I was supposed to do. But nowadays, Jack Doohan might as well become like a global ambassador for Lego now. Why not? Or like Australian marketing specialist for Lego. I don't know. The opportunities are endless now. I mean, I bet the engagement for that F1 Lego video is off the freaking charts, okay? I was so hyped to watch that video. Genuinely, they put it out on the social media. This is going to be the release time for the video. I was like, yeah, I'm tuning in the second it premieres on YouTube. It was fantastic. Maybe F1 is fun. Maybe F1 isn't all about, money and corporate freaking sponsors and, media censorship. Maybe it's not that. Maybe F1 is fun. Because I genuinely think I was scared. Seeing all the footage of the F1 Lego car race when it happened, because it was all over social media. Went on the day, it was like, oh, look at these guys crashing into each other like crazy. I was concerned. I was going like, dude, someone's gonna find these guys. Someone in position of power is gonna be like, you guys are in trouble because you were not supposed to do that. But I think that's the beauty of these F1 drivers. They will always find a loophole. Unfortunately, no one from the F1 Lego department went like, guys, actually, you're not allowed to damage these. No one said that, and because no one said that, these guys went ham. I'm talking Hamilton and Leclerc. Look, the torture that Hamilton and Leclerc were subjected to later on that weekend, during Sunday. But oh my God, did they have a great start to that race week at least. Oh my goodness gracious. Look at how happy all those grown men are. They're so happy in that video. It's like, I genuinely think there's going to be so many drivers from this season that even if they didn't do much, right, they're going to be like, well, you know what? Back in 2025, I was in that F1 Lego car, and it was the time of my life. It was the best time of my life. It didn't get better than that. Imagine there will be genuinely a few drivers that go like, you know what? At the end of the 2025 season, they'll think to themselves, you know what? This season was horrible. I did not, nothing went the way it did, but at least I drove the F1 Lego car around the Miami circuit with the boys. And we giggled and we laughed and we cried. Oh, God. That was beautiful. Sorry for the little rant to begin with, but that was what went down. And ahead of us now, we have a triple header all in Europe, because that's where F1 was born and that's where F1 belongs. That's where F1 belongs. Yeah, triple header. We got Imola GP, we got Monaco GP, then we have Spanish GP, Barcelona, Catalunya. Bam, bam, bam. 3 weekends in a row to segue us into the summer, into June. It's beautiful. It is spectacular. This is my favorite time of the F1 year, because so many people are going like, oh yeah, but the upgrade, every team's gonna get the upgrade package in Spain or whatever the frick. It don't matter. This is when we walk the walk still. Okay, no big upgrade packages. We're just here, just elbows out, doing what we can. All right. In terms of the bigger picture, let's get into that first. Let's just get into what May has to offer us before we get into the specifics of what will happen this weekend. Big picture, team standings. McLaren right now is at 246, and second place is Mercedes at 141. I think Constructors' Championship, at least like the top two, is pretty figured out. Unless if Mercedes takes a big dip, then it might be a bit more of a dogfight in terms of the Constructors' standings. But I think in terms of who is going to win it, McLaren pretty much got this secured. All right, pretty much got this secured. I think now Constructors' Championship, that's pretty much set in stone. We don't have to, worry about that too much anymore. But like I said, Mercedes sitting at 141 at second place. Red Bull Racing, Honda RBPT, right? Oracle Red Bull Racing, whatever the hell, right? They're at 105 in third place. But get this. This is the closest battle that we have right now in terms of the constructors. Ferrari is sitting at fourth place at 94 points. So currently 11 points behind Red Bull Racing. Now, this is why this is very interesting, because I didn't do the calculations this time. I did it like few weeks or few races before I made the calculations, but I think the percentage are still there. I'm pretty sure Max Verstappen has scored more than 95% of Red Bull Racing's points in total. I think the contributions from Yuki Tsunoda has been very minimal in terms of the percentage. And so it's basically Max Verstappen is single-handedly outscoring Lewis Hamilton and Charles Leclerc in the Ferraris. This is very interesting. Very interesting. I don't think, or I would like to think, that this hasn't happened in a very long time. This is a very unique and rare instance where one dude is outscoring two dudes. in fact, it's very freaking crazy. And with that being said, because I ranted about this last week, I am over it. I have calmed my nerves. My faith has been restored, right? I'm not gonna bash Scuderia Ferrari too much. Okay. Like a month ago, I said that, Ferrari have up until Imola to get their shit together, right? And I really do think that now they got their shit together. I really do think strategically, communications-wise, Miami Grand Prix was as bad as it got, and as bad as it will ever get for Ferrari. All right? And with that being said, now it's only uphill, right? I like to think on it always gets worse before it gets better, okay? And I believe it's going to get way better now for Ferrari. I believe. Okay? So in May, with the triple header that we have, after the triple header, I predict that Ferrari will finally overtake Red Bull, aka Max Verstappen, in the constructors' standings. All right? Ferrari, like I said, in fourth position, 11 points behind Red Bull Racing, who are in the third position. I predict that after the triple header, Ferrari will finally overtake Red Bull Racing, because Max Verstappen can't do this much longer, dude. I really think so. It's the hardest carry I've ever seen in my life, dude. You thought last year was insane. We thought last year was insane with how hard he carried Red Bull Racing, with Checo Perez. Nah, this season is even more insane. So I don't think Verstappen can do it that much longer. It's too much for him at the end of the day. It's 2 cars versus 1. Let's be real. And of course, like I said, I want things to be better for Ferrari. I expect things to go better for Ferrari. So now, after May, hopefully Ferrari will be third in the Constructors' Championship. Now, moving on. Real quick, this is not big picture, but Fernando Alonso being one of the only drivers, if not the only driver. No. Him, Liam Lawson, and Bortoleto are the only drivers on the grid, active drivers on the grid, who have not scored a point yet in this season. You know what? Lance Stroll scored a good amount of points the first 2-3 races or whatnot. I think Fernando Alonso will find some more pace. I really do. I think they might do a little bit something different strategically, just because overall the Aston Martin pace doesn't look like it's there, or not that competitive. But I think Fernando Alonso is going to score some points. I mean, he has to, bro. I genuinely think out of, Fernando Alonso, Liam Lawson, Bortoleto, who's going to score the first points, it's got to be Fernando Alonso, okay? So, Fernando Alonso, let's score some points in this triple header. That would be great. And what else? Oh, yes, my boys. Those are my boys right there. Williams Atlassian Racing. We're in an upwards trend right now. Saudi Arabia, double points. Miami, double points. Let's make this an actual streak, right? On Snapchat, it's like after 3 in a row, then it's considered an actual streak. Let's do this now. All right, we go to Imola. Let's do double points there, and let's just make this a regular thing. I believe experience-wise, you guys are up there, right? In terms of the pace, the car, I think they're fine. The car in itself, the team, I think they're finding consistency. Carlos Sainz started off a little bit slow with, going back to a Mercedes power unit. But I think now Sainz is catching up to the Mercedes power unit feel again. Albon's always been on point. Truthfully, this is going to be an amazing season for Albon. I already know it. These boys are relaxed. I really do think so. I'm sure that there's a good amount of incentives on their contract to be positioned well in the point scoring range. I think that helps, but also I genuinely think that they don't have that much pressure and they can just push and they can just, be very, there's no urgency with Williams right now. That's the best thing. Right now with every other team, there might be some form of urgency. Williams is one of those teams. They don't have urgency, right? They just know that if they do what they keep on doing and build on top of that foundation, it'll only get better. And I like it. I cannot wait for another episode of the Williams podcast. What are they? Okay, no, I'm not going to try to remember. It was such a cheesy name for their podcast anyways. I love it. Williams is pumping out great content on YouTube right now. I love it. Overall, I'm just about the Williams guys. I have been from the get-go, and now truly flourishing. And, if we look at just the standings, Williams right now, 37 points, not that much compared to, the front runners. However, that's a good amount of points differential to the team underneath them, which is Haas. Haas is at 20 points, so 17 points ahead for Williams, and very difficult for Haas to be scoring 17 points like that. Doesn't happen that easily. So I think if anything now, Williams truly is going to pull away from Haas. I don't know. Maybe we can even challenge further up the ladder. It just depends on if we can keep this going. Truthfully, if we can keep the point scoring a regular thing for Alex Albon and Carlos Sainz, then we're good. We're perfecto. All right. And if anything, unlikely, unless if we get rain in Monaco or, God forbid, Imola. But the podium is on the way. I just got to keep on saying this. This is one of the things that I've said almost every episode. Williams Racing podium is going to happen. It's going to happen. I don't mind if it's Alex Albon. Of course, it would be just picture perfect if it is Carlos Sainz. But truthfully, just keep it up, boys. Just keep it up. I like it. I like it a lot. Fuck yeah. All right. And, yeah. And, yeah. Like I said, big picture, standings-wise on the driver's side. Haven't talked too much about the McLaren guys. I think now it's just they just gotta battle it out. I don't think there's anything special now. Now it's just man versus man. I'm saying this is it, right? Oscar Piastri, show of dominance right now in terms of the amount of wins he's been able to score this season compared to Lando Norris. But I truthfully think Lando Norris has a lot to give still. And I don't think he's mentally compromised at all yet. It's too early in the season to be, doubtful. But if you look at the third and fourth position, Verstappen and George Russell. That's a very interesting battle in terms of the standings on the driver's side, especially, with last season, Verstappen and George Russell, they had a little bit of, back and forth. I'm sure they're fine. I don't think that they're the best of friends, but I don't think anyone really is. But Verstappen is at 99 points and George Russell is at 93. George Russell has been ridiculously consistent this season, and I think it's going to keep on going. Max Verstappen, he's always going to have the raw speed. However, it's just, I think Mercedes is more likely to improve much more than the Red Bull is throughout the season. So I just think that that's going to be a battle that we're going to see quite a lot. And on track 2, I wish that this is going to be something that we get to see a little bit more, because these boys are going to get feisty with one another. All right. So that's something that I'm going to keep a close eye on. What else? Oh, yeah. If you look a little bit further down on the standings, we have 5th position. We have Charles Leclerc at 53 points. We have Kimi Antonelli at 6th with 48 points. And Lewis Hamilton at 7th with 41 points. So what's that? 7 points between Lewis Hamilton and Kimi Antonelli. And Kimi Antonelli is 5 points behind Leclerc. So all of that right there is going to be very close. And I genuinely think with Alex Albon sitting at 30 points right behind, and he's kind of like doing his own thing, you know what I'm saying? So he might get into the mix further down the season. However, right now, this Hamilton, Antonelli, Leclerc fight for the 5th position on the driver's standings. It's going to be pretty intense, especially when I think the pace is pretty similar. Both Ferrari and the Mercedes, they have plus and minuses. Of course, Kimi Antonelli being a rookie, and Leclerc and Hamilton having way much more experience. However, the Ferrari is just, Ferrari is Ferrarying, and, in a way, Mercedes is Mercedes-ing. So we'll see how that turns out at the end of the season, or just at the end of the triple header. I think this triple header will for sure give us a more clear idea. Of course, like I said, if this does not happen, if this prediction does not happen, that first prediction that I made does not happen, then it's just game over. Then Ferrari, I'm sorry. Let's just forget that the whole season ever existed, and pray to God, pray to the Lord Almighty that new regulations and the new Ferrari engine is going to be way better. But yeah, let's get into Imola finally. Imola this weekend. Feels great to be back. 1 DRS zone. Not particularly the most well-known track for overtaking. But of course, second home, I guess, for Ferrari. I think Monza is like the main Ferrari home race, but close second, the other one, whatever. I think the script is going to start scripting now. Kimi Antonelli versus Lewis Hamilton. I want to see it. I want to see them go wheel to wheel throughout the whole freaking weekend, although it's not like a sprint weekend or anything. I want them to be just battling it out between those two. It's just perfect. Kimi Antonelli, being in the seat that Lewis Hamilton was sitting in beforehand. However, Kimi Antonelli being an Italian brother and Lewis Hamilton now driving for the Italian team. Please go wheel to wheel into turn one. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. That's what I want to see, all right? Also, Williams versus Ferrari. I genuinely think that if Ferrari haven't made that many improvements, then Williams are going to be there. All of a sudden, Carlos Sainz wants to get a little bit more revenge, right? Show the Ferrari fans how much they messed up. But of course, in one way or another, he's already proven it. But yeah, Williams versus Ferrari, that'll be something that I want to see as well. Like I said, Fernando Alonso hopefully will be in that point scoring range. And for pole position, let's go into the Imola GP pole position, who I think is going to be on point on Saturday for qualifying. I was going to say Max Verstappen. And in a way or two, I will say it's Max Verstappen for pole position. I think the track favors his driving style and the car that he drives, so that's why. However, the reason why I won't write down Max Verstappen is because the new babies probably kept him up some nights. Genuinely. I think this guy is going to be coming into Imola a little bit sleep deprived. And we know where his head is at. He emphasizes the family life and being a great father and husband or whatnot. So Verstappen, although I do think you might be the fastest one on Saturday, since the pole position is always so close, it's been like within 1/10th of a second. I think just because the baby might have kept you up a little bit too many nights, I think then with that being said, it might be one of the McLaren boys. And of course, I am a Oscar Piastri diehard fan. I'm rooting for him to win the Drivers' Championship. However, I think Lando Norris still got that dog in him. Lando Norris still got that dog in him. I think he's going to strike back, dude. I think Lando Norris is going to show us that he has not given up yet, and he is more than willing to fight. And I do think Imola is a track where track position is very important, especially if the margins are really close. So most likely Lando Norris, if he scores the pole position, will convert it into a race win. So sorry for being boring, but genuinely, I want to just get it correct, the mundo. I was considering putting down Kimi Antonelli, very close to going that way. And just, that will be the most perfect outcome if he's able to score a podium at home. Or, at home. Yeah, I guess, at home. Yeah, fuck yeah. which is the 2 points that I kind of didn't talk about. But like I said, I want things to go better for Ferrari. But I do think things haven't gone perfect for Kimi Antonelli. Like if you consider where George Russell is compared to him. But then again, this is his rookie year. However, I do think Kimi Antonelli podium is also very, very inevitable. Of course, it would be a dream come true if he does it in Imola. But if not, I'm sure it'll happen somewhere else, and it's going to be freaking awesome. And with Leclerc too, Monaco is next. There's still Spain. I don't think Imola is going to be the place where Mr. Saturday makes the comeback. However, I do think that it's on the way. It's also inevitable. With that being said, I think it's a Norris type of weekend. I think it's a Norris Masterclass type of weekend. Right. Not saying that Oscar Piastri is weak or is, or like, the 3 wins got into his head or anything like that. I don't think so, but I think this is now when Lando Norris gives us a taste of what he's got. All right, so pole position, Norris, and win is Norris. Okay? If this doesn't happen, of course, then, I'll be elated by the fact that Oscar Piastri or whoever will be up there. But as of right now, that's what I think is going to go down this weekend. And I cannot wait. I cannot wait, ladies and gentlemen. There is so much action going down this May. I got 2 stand-up gigs. I got a freaking school reunion. I got my cousin and my grandma from the U.S. flying in, and, summer holiday closely approaching. And look at this last weekend as well. I got, first time in a very long time, I got it correct. Jack Della Maddalena, new welterweight UFC champion of the world, defeated Bahal Muhammad via unanimous decision. Fuck yeah. Shout out to JDM. Shout out to Jack Della Maddalena for making me look good. Thanks, mate. Fight smart. Fight smart and keep pinging the cunt. Fuck, I love Australians in the UFC. Alexander Volkanovski and Jack Della Maddalena, champs, representing down under. And there's going to be some great matchups. This guy over here, John Jones, he's never going to fight Tom Aspinall. It's GG's. I think there's a quick Apex fight night this weekend. I think Gilbert Burns is the main event. Yes, fighting against Michael Morales, who is 17-0 in his pro record. So let's see if Gilbert Burns' experience will be able to hand Michael Morales his first professional loss. Paul Gregg is fighting as well. Sadiq Yusuf, who else? Jared Gordon, and the very beautiful and talented Luana Pinheiro is also fighting. So good luck to all those athletes fighting in the Apex this weekend, Saturday night. Shout out. What else? NBA playoffs is going down right now. Frick, man, it's gonna hurt so much to see Steph Curry get freaking eliminated by Anthony Edwards, but I do think it might just happen this year. Anthony Edwards been a real menace in the NBA. I think he deserves it too. Phenomenal. There's I I think the most intense series right now is the Denver Nuggets versus the Oklahoma City Thunder. I think every other series is 3-1 currently. Pacers are up on the Cavs 3-1. Last night, Knicks just went up on the Celtics 3-1. What else is 3-1? Yeah, Anthony Edwards, the Timberwolves up 3-1 against the Golden State Warriors. Honestly, I think one of those teams might pull off the comeback. I don't know who it is. I don't know if it's gonna be the Cavs, the I hope it's not the Celtics. Man, I love the Knicks, dude. The energy that surrounds the Knicks is just freaking amazing. How can you hate on Timothy Chalamet, Ben Stiller, freaking Spike Lee, freaking, my one of my favorite comedians, Sam Morril, diehard Knicks fan, Action Bronson, Bam Bam Baklava, all these guys supporting the Knicks, and the freaking videos of the Knicks fans just going fucking ape shit all the time is about as entertaining as a fan base can get. I don't care. Way better than the Celtics fan base, although this just in, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to the land of the free, home of the brave, USA, Boston, 23rd of August, 2025. Alexei Pukanikin, a.k.a. Brad Pitt, a.k.a. Alexei Pukanikin, will touch down in Boston for 14 whole days, and we'll see what kind of action we'll get to, but we'll talk about that a little bit later because that's we still got a summer ahead of us first. But yeah, tomorrow morning, I'm probably gonna wake up to watch Nuggets versus OKC. Game starts at 4:30 in the morning. I have a 6 a.m. wake up usually for work anyway, so might just have to get up a little bit earlier and just tune in because I genuinely think those two teams are freaking exciting as heck. So yeah, and then ice hockey championships has started now, and we'll see if Finland makes a good old run for it once again this year. NHL playoffs going down as well. Hopefully the Dallas Stars are going to be doing good with Mikko Rantanen. Oh yeah, it's tremendous, guys. I'm going to end it at that, but for sure, maybe F1 is fun, guys. Maybe, just maybe F1 is fun, and Brad Pitt will make us fall in love with it once again. And shout out to Lego for genuinely being so awesome, because I don't even want to think about those freaking poor F1 Lego engineers that put in so much time to build up these F1 cars just for the fucking guys to destroy it. Oh, so good. So wonderful. Again, I'm Brad Pitt, and we're balling today, tomorrow, most definitely yesterday. Stay ballin', and I'll see y'all next week.